I'm sitting here with my old friend Christopher Keene, and Chris, we have a little bit of history together.
Just a little.
We were just thinking how many years we've known each other, how many years we've worked on projects. It's been 27, 28 years, probably that much. Chris, you've been with Sanctuary since the very beginning.
I was at the first service in Cathedral of Life. Is that
Yes, I think it was,
Cathedral
right?
of Life, yes.
Yeah. How did you even hear about Sanctuary at the beginning? I don't think I even know that story.
I had a friend of mine, Barry Shishido.
Yes, right.
He was from Hawaii. He was working with me at the record store.
Yeah.
CD store.
Licorice Pizza. You worked at?
No, not at that time. At that time it was Music Plus.
Okay.
In Lomita. But yeah, he kept inviting me to the church, and I kept telling him all the reasons why I didn't want to go to church. And he kept saying, "No, this is a different kind of church." And
you weren't a Christian in those days.
I was at that point. I had just become a Christian. And but I was convinced that the only way to really stay away from the hypocrites was to sit in my room and read my Bible and pray and to be godly and
not associate with those guys.
Right, those guys. Right. But Barry wasn't really one of those guys. And then I went
pretty cool.
I went to Sanctuary and it wasn't any of those guys.
Yeah, and so you stayed?
I stayed.
We're glad you did. Now, you stayed, you became an elder in your church as well. And, you know, Chris, you were phenomenal in putting stuff together, you know, special effects, you know, all the plays and all the dramas and everything that we did. You put a lot of time in all of those things.
And the church bulletins, don't forget
the church bulletins. He did the church bulletins.
I put weird things on copy machines. That was my...
Yeah, that's right.
At 3 a.m.
But you know, one thing that I wanted to talk to you about mainly was the Vengeance stuff. Now, Vengeance was a project for us in those days, and we just kind of put everything together from scratch. And Chris, you took my hand and did some special effects makeup. Do you remember those days?
I do.
Do you remember the process?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me what you remember about the whole thing.
I remember Nar Martinez. He was
Yes.
a photographer. I was going to Cal State Long Beach at the time, and we set up a photo shoot in the makeup studio down there at Cal State. And I made a spike, the nail out of a cosmetic sponge. I had a block sponge and I cut it out. I made a spike out of it and made a little appliance to go on your palm. And then we got you to lay your hand down for a long time while I made that up and got the blood drip just right and all that. We fiddled with it and got the lighting just right. We had a big plank that we brought in there, I guess, to use as a cross.
Right.
It was probably about, I don't know, maybe about 3 feet long or something, and we had to lay your hand on it. But the shot came out great. Nar was a great photographer.
Yeah,
we had some stage lighting in there that we rigged up.
And I remember looking at it, Chris, and I remember thinking, man, it just looks like it should really hurt. You know? You did a great job on it. And you did the second Vengeance album cover as well.
I did that with...
Winstead?
Yeah, I worked on Winstead. I actually... Michael Keene, who... he's still a makeup artist in Hollywood, and actually he started a magazine called Makeup Artist Magazine.
Okay.
He and I met at his apartment up in Burbank, and we had casts of I think 3 of the band members, and so we made the molds and everything up there, and did it on his living room floor. Made all the pieces, amazing. And then we had a
humble beginnings.
Yeah, we did a photo shoot in a garage. We had that whole cemetery set up in a garage. Yeah. It was really. It was like a plastic sheeting with like vermiculite all over the front. We cut little holes for the guys to stick out of. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Those are good memories, right?
Yeah.
Now, Chris, you've gone from there. You're a college professor now, and you teach theater arts. So this is something you've been doing professor for a few years.
Yeah, I love the creative process with that, but even more than that, I like passing that on to others, watching students get excited about it, and watching it when they go from the point of I don't know if I can do it to like, wow, I made that, or
exactly.
So it's a neat thing to see. So I love being a teacher.
So you look back on those days and think those are the good old days?
At times, there were things that were really cool about them. The fellowship and the sanctuary family was just something that I think it was just a special moment in time. But it's also neat to see how that whole thing carries on. And
that's right.
Every phase of your life has different things and different good points. I love being a dad now. So that's
and we have 2 daughters.
2 daughters. Married to the beautiful Monday.
You are?
Yes. So
very cool.
Yeah. So
you met her at Sanctuary as well.
I did. Yes.
That's great. Yeah. So Chris, when you look back at all those years ago, and Vengeance was one of the projects that actually worked on. We really started from scratch with the band and the album covers and the music, the whole thing. We were involved in the whole process. It really was the first album of its kind. It started a whole new wave of metal music.
Oh, I remember all the heat we got for that too.
It was a big controversy.
Oh yeah. Nobody had ever gone in that direction with Christian metal.
Yes,
that's a totally different thing. I remember.
It was the beginnings, yeah.
And I remember some of those meetings with the band and talking about it, and everybody going like, this is going to get controversy, but the whole goal and the whole reason for doing it was seeing these kids that needed to be reached, and just going over and over again. God doesn't have a style. God's not limited to that. And there's no way that you can say that the enemy has a corner on the market. God's in charge of everything, and so any of those areas that we go to reach people.
Well, Chris, for a lot of the people that are listening to us right now, they know that work, and some of them are into more of the modern bands, and some of the kids that are listening to us right now are saying, I wasn't even alive then. And of course
that's scary.
Yeah. But Chris, you're talking about leaving your legacy, and you have passed down a legacy, not only to your students, but to a whole lot of the people that are listening to this right now. It was all of those things that we started way back then that have really blossomed into the international ministry that's going on today. So that feels good, doesn't it?
It does.
It feels good to be part of that, the beginnings.
Feel like a dream,
Exactly. We're the old guys here, Yeah.
We're still immature.
That's right. So, but Chris, what would you say to the people who are listening about creativity? Because if there's one thing I've heard you speak on many times, it's that subject, and that creativity is kind of an important issue for you, isn't it?
I think if you really examine the Old Testament, particularly the one that I always share with my students, is the story of God giving the plans and setting up the staffing to make the tabernacle.
Yes.
If you read up on that, our God is not a God that is boring, that is against art in any fashion. It's just the opposite.
Yeah.
God shows all these different art forms in making the place that was really the foreshadow or the earthly representation of the throne of God here on earth. And he shows that in the tabernacle in all these different ways of different types of visual arts and music and just casting and jewelry making and things and embroidery, all these things that went into that whole worship service they had out in the wilderness and eventually into the temple. That's the God we serve. He's a creative God, and for me as an artist, the greatest thing that I can do to worship God is to follow the Creator by creating something else, by doing something in art, and so that's time when, if you think of the term collaborate, co-laboring, working with, the time when I as a son of God, as a child of God, can sit down with Daddy and make something. And the things that I make are so far, such a small thing compared to the magnificence of the universe. But the fact that you can do that, and God cares about it, and God inspires it,
and He's giving you your creativity too.
Absolutely. I got to share. I was working today and doing a passion play here in Nashville, and I was working by myself all day making a back piece that we're going to put on the aquaplane chases. And it was such a time of worship to sit there, and I remember thinking several times, nobody is probably going to see these details that I'm putting into this thing, with my latex and stuff. But God and I know they're there, and the fun was the process and doing it. It's going to be great if it touches people, and I hope that and pray that it does. But the worship that it was just creating it was awesome.
That's so good to hear. And Chris, you're not in a band.
I'm not in a band.
You don't play the guitar.
I play the trumpet a little.
Okay, so
it's a penny whistle.
But you've never been in any popular Christian bands, whatever.
Nope.
And yet you've had just as much to do with the beginnings of this movement than anybody has. And folks, listen to this, because this is a really important thing for people who maybe can't play an instrument, but they are an artist, they can do other things, and they need to be involved with the soul process as well.
Creative minds are always needed. So are roadies.
That's right. And so are roadies, that's right. We all have a place.
Yes.
Chris, thank you so much.
Sure.
And all of you out there, if you haven't seen the Vengeance album cover, the first one, the one with my hand on the cover, we're about to create this in a poster, and you can have this for your wall. This sounds like a good commercial, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And actually,
$24.95, I'll sign it. No,
exactly.
You bring it to me, I'll sign it.
You heard him right here. He'll sign it.
I'll sign it. Bring me one.
Anyway, we're going to make those available because it's a phenomenal piece of art. A little piece of history.
It is.
Thanks, Chris.